Welcome to Lesson 1. The first, most important part of being a percussionist is to know how to play the snare drum. Firstly, I will show how to correctly hold a snare drum. So you can hear when I talk, the snare drum vibrates. It's because behind the snare drum there is a series of wires that causes the sound, and when I remove it, you can see here, this basically a metal wiring is what makes the sound of the snare drum. So if I put it on, now if I play it, you can hear this distinctive snare drum sandy voice. But if I leave it off, it will just sound like a normal drum, like a tom-tom. The correct way of holding a drumstick is by holding this drumstick on its, let's see, 1/3 position, so somewhere here. I have a beginner's drumstick that automatically marks the region that you're supposed to hold, which is the black part. And you can see drumsticks come in different sizes and mesh heads, different sizes of mesh heads. So the correct way of holding it is pretend you are holding a sword, so like this, but beside holding, cramming your thumb against your index finger, you want to gently grip the drumstick between the curve in your index finger and against your thumb, and only hold just drumstick with these two fingers, and the rest are just there, just there. And if you hold it with both hands, you can try to shake it a bit. The most common mistake beginners make is by holding it too tight, and when they play they go like this, and that is very wrong. You want to play using your wrist instead of your whole arm. Be sure to practice your holding positions. Remember, thumb, index finger, and the rest. Thumb, index finger, and the rest. The position is very important because if you place something like this, it is very uncomfortable, and if you play something like this, it is hard to control. And if you're in the apartment, or you just don't want to make any big noise, you can just slap a book on your snare drum. Now we will reduce the voice by a heck lot. With the book, without the book. So, for beginners, it is very common to have different sounds. What I mean is bad coordination between your left arm and your right arm. Sorry, left hand and right hand. So it will sound something like this. There are a few things that's wrong with my posture. First being, I am using my whole arm, and this is very, very wrong. What I want to do is slap a book and only use my wrist. You normally want to use the middle of the drum, but for the sake of this video, I'll just use on the side because it makes less voice. And to practice your speed and coordination, you might need a metronome. So in the beginning, I use a Danjio, which is 72, and you might want to do some exercise like this. And my little own exercise I always do is by playing quarter notes and 18th notes. No, 8 notes. So I am not a great drummer, but I usually can go up to 170 is my speed limit. So I'll just set it up real quick. So, being the drummer means endless practice. And the next step is rhythm. To a drummer, rhythm is basically everything. You have drum rolls, 18th notes, all the weird things that you can think of. So if I play something, sorry, I'll keep the book on. I'll play this in a while, but drum roll is another thing you might want to learn, which is very actually easy. The key is to hold your thumb against your index finger tightly and loosen your other fingers beside your pinky. So, you can make something like this. You can make the mesh head jump multiple times. Some people like to use their pinky, but I don't. I think it interferes with my performance. So, once you have your left and right mesh heads, you can start syncing up the process. What I mean is, and then removing all the stuff. This will be a cool drum roll. It is important to note that on the side of the drum, it usually plays quieter. So, like mezzo piano or piano, in the middle, it's loud. Comparing from the side and the middle. This is called a drum set. Some people call it the jazz drum, but it doesn't really matter. What it does is essentially it is a replica of the real drum set. This is for people who cannot afford, or cannot own a real drum set due to, for example, noise. Since I live in an apartment, I cannot just bang on the drums and just wake the whole building up. And as you can see here, we have a little friend. Snare drum. Big tom bro. This is the big tom bro actually. Floor tom. Tom 1, tom 2, floor tom, crash, and ride. And of course our little hi-hat friend. Since the frame of the video doesn't provide enough field of view to see, I will move it out of the way in the video so I can play. And this is essentially how drums... Crap. This is how essentially drums sounds like. Thank you very much for watching, and get tuned for my next episode.